Hello. I'm making this video because I'm going to be going on a backpacking trip to Havasu Falls. Yeah, I got a coveted permit to the falls, which I got lucky because a friend of a friend couldn't make it. And so I was able to slide in and get that permit. Anyway, so we're going to be going on this trip in about 5 months. And I am already preparing for it. I'm already obsessing over it. And one of the things that I'm obsessing over is the meal part, the food. So I have been testing out different recipes for the trail, for this camping trip. And these are going to be dehydrated meals. So one of my test recipes is a version of chicken and dumplings, and oh man, it is so good. But the problem is the chicken, because dehydrating chicken and then rehydrating it is resulting in a very chewy, tough texture. So I went online, and there's all kind of information on the internet, which is probably where I should have started with this. But anyway, I found that if you use like pressure, like canned chicken. So in my pantry, I'll show you an example here. So I have this Kirkland chicken breast, canned chicken. I dehydrated this, and it turned out really, really well. I mean, is it perfect? Is it just like out of the can, after dehydrating it and then rehydrating it? The answer is no. But it wasn't tough and chewy. It was easy to eat. Okay. But my trip is 5 months from now, and while I could dehydrate this chicken now and hope it's safe to eat 5 months from now, I'm trying to come up with another plan. And I just like figuring stuff out. I just like the challenge of things, and I love to cook, so this is just right up my alley. So anyway, what my experiment is two things, two different ways of cooking chicken, and then I'm going to dehydrate it, and then I'm going to rehydrate it and compare it to this. So my goal is that I won't have to buy canned chicken for 5 months down the road to finish bagging my dehydrated meals, but rather I can just grab chicken, from the store and be able to prep it myself and be ready to go ahead and dehydrate it and pack it. So this experiment is going to see how these other methods of preparing chicken compares to canned chicken. I'm going to flip my screen to show you what I'm up to right now. So the first thing I'm trying to do is I'm going to sous vide. I have 2 chicken breasts here that I'm sous videing at 146.5 degrees, and I'm going to do this for about 4 to 5 hours. And the reason why I'm doing it for so long is because I really want to get the chicken breast down to that texture that is so super tender, and that when I dehydrate it, it will rehydrate back to a texture that is easy to eat. So this is this is going to be my test chicken number 1. Test chicken number 2, which is actually not in here yet because what I'm doing is sterilizing my little canning jars, which look like this. So I have 3 of these in here that I'm sterilizing at the moment. Then I'm going to take chicken breast here that I've just lightly seasoned with some salt. I'm going to pack it into these jars. Then I'm going to can it. Now, I'm not canning it for the purpose of keeping in my pantry. I'm canning it for the purpose of getting the texture down in this chicken breast so that when I dehydrate it and rehydrate it, I get a temperature that or a texture that I would be comparing to my canned chicken. So option number 1 is going to be, or let's see here, project number 1 is the sous vide chicken, and project number 2 is going to be canned chicken. So this is part 1 video. I'll get these canned and cooked in the pressure cooker, and then I will take you through another video where I dehydrate both and rehydrate both, and we're going to do a texture test. Matter of fact, at that time I will also dehydrate this, and we will have a trio. We will test all 3. So for you backpackers out there, you might appreciate this test if you want to go through the lengths of doing this. I happen to have a sous vide. I've had it for a couple of years now. I love it. I use it all the time, which is why I'm breaking it out for this to test it out. I got an Instant Pot about 1.5 years ago. I haven't used it for this purpose in terms of canning or anything, but because of the canned chicken, I am going to try this canned version. So I'll be back and I'll let you know how this turns out. Okay. All right. And there's my jars, which there's 1. 2. 3. I'm excited. All right, so here are the experimental chicken that we're going to be doing with dehydrating. So this is the sous vide chicken. This is the home canned chicken that I had in the pressure cooker today. This is grilled chicken from the other day that I'm going to throw into this little experiment. So here we have our 3 experimental chicken options here. I decided not to do the can because I already know what this texture is like. So now it's just a matter of these 3, what the texture is going to be like. So this is the sous vide chicken. This is the chicken that came out of my home canning jar. And this is the grilled chicken that I made the other night. So this is the one that pretty much is like going to be a little chewy, but still I want to just put it all back in, dehydrate it, and see how they all compare with each other once we rehydrate them. All right, so why don't you guys take your pick and your guess on which one you think is probably going to have the best texture in the end. The house already has their votes, so I'm going to go ahead and put these in. Okay, so I'm putting these into my, so I don't have a dehydrator, isn't that funny? I used to have a dehydrator, but yeah, so I had a dehydrator and I was trying to dehydrate fish sauce. Don't ask, that's for another video. And I ruined it, so I had to throw it away. I might get another dehydrator, but for now my toaster oven is working, and let me show you how I get, how I use my toaster oven to dehydrate my food. So here we go. The part about this that makes it helps with the dehydration process is that it has a convection option, which inside of the dehydrator, there's vents here where there's a fan behind it, and it helps to circulate the air in the toaster oven. So I'm going to keep that on convection. And temperature wise, you want to dehydrate your food somewhere between 80 to 140 degrees. And so right now you can see here it starts off at 150 as far as like lining it up temperature wise, but I have it just just above 150, and I've been using this temperature gauge, so I keep it in here, and right about here is registering on my thermometer in here at about 140. So pretty much going at 150. If I did 150 or higher, I'd be cooking the food, which I don't want to cook it any longer. I just want to dry it out. And then I just put it on the stay on option. My light's on, it's on convection, and it's about pretty much right about 140. I might actually lower it just a touch, and I'm going to let this go overnight. So it's about 6:45 in the morning, and here are, this is the grilled chicken fully dried. This the home canned chicken is fully dried, and so is the sous vide chicken. The next test will be on how do they rehydrate texture wise. All right, so we are back. We have the 3 experimental dehydrated chicken. So let's show you what we have. So this is the first one. This is how the sous vide chicken turned out. It's very lightweight. Okay. And this is the home canned chicken. Sorry, trying to get it to focus. Very dry, very crunchy. And this is the grilled chicken. So it's just chicken breast seasoned, and it was cooked on the grill. So these are the ones that I'm going to rehydrate. Alright, so we're going to go this way. And I'm going to use this to heat it up to rehydrate. Alright, so while we wait for the chicken to rehydrate, you saw that I put them in these little jars. I filled it with hot water from my kettle, and then I have it in the pressure cooker, more or less just for the heat part of it, just to something that will keep it piping hot for the next 10 minutes to rehydrate, and then another 10 minutes to finish rehydrating. But how I would probably do it, or how I will do it while I'm on the trail, or you know, out on the hike, the backpacking camping trip, is to use something like this. So I know, like with the Mountain House freeze-dried meals, you pour the hot water in, you stir it up, you give it 5 minutes, stir it up, give it another 5 minutes, so it's done in about 10 minutes. So my method actually takes a little longer because it's dehydrated food. It's not freeze-dried. Freeze-dried will rehydrate a lot faster. So I use something like this because it's a thermos and it will keep your food hot for a very long time. And it's the heat of, you know, with the boiled water in here along with my dehydrated food, that will help it rehydrate really nicely. So something like this is small. It's only about a cup, holds about 8 ounces of liquid, maybe a little bit more, maybe more like 12 ounces of liquid. And then what I would do is have something like this. So this is what my breakfast would look like. So I have oatmeal in here, I have some nuts and dried fruit in here. And so I would cut this open, pour it into my canister, my thermos, and then fill it with hot water that I would boil on the trail, and then seal it up for about 15-20 minutes, and it turns out perfect every time. So that's what I would be doing with my chicken, and in making my meals is I would have my lunches, dinners, packed, vacuum sealed in something like this. Rice, chicken, dehydrated vegetables would go into something like this, and it would be it would also contain the seasonings, and I would just go ahead and put it in. So for my lunches and dinners, I would be using something larger. So I have this. This is not a thermos brand. This is a Zojirushi. Zojirushi. It's a Japanese brand. Very reliable thermos maker, or you know, similar to thermos, but the Japanese sort of version of it. And this is excellent. I mean, it will hold a hot meal for hours. I mean, we're talking like 8 hours. I haven't really gone beyond that, but it's the same concept. Double walled to keep heat or cold, depending on what you're using or going to be, you know, using this for. And this is about 17 ounces. I think it's actually 16 point, not quite 17 ounces. I think it's 16.9, but it's more than enough for a good solid meal when you're backpacking. So I just fill this up with my food and hot water, seal it up for about 20 minutes, and I'm good to go. So we would be doing something like this. All right, so here we are. We are back for the moment of truth where we do the taste test, and here are my taste and texture testers. So we have my lovely girlfriend Kim and my stepdaughter Jacinda, and they're gonna do this test and let us know how this is gonna turn out. I'm gonna flip this around and we'll take a look at what we have. All right, so this is A, and what it looks like. Sorry, it's not going to come into focus. And then there's, I don't have it in order, but this is C, and hot B. Wow, they rehydrated pretty well. So we'll see. Okay, ladies, which one do you want to try first?
We'll start with A.
A?
Yeah.
Okay. Here, I'll give you guys a couple.
Okay.
Just to...
So what are we looking for? Texture?
Uh-huh.
Just texture?
Yeah. And it could be taste. Just your opinion so far. What are you getting out of the texture?
I think that piece was like an end piece, so it was a little bit drier.
Yeah, this is dry.
It's got a, yeah, I'm still chewing one piece. So
Mhm.
it's a little bit more on the dry side. It's not moist. I
Okay.
don't know if it should be, but I'm trying
Still a
my
little
piece.
chewy. Chewy.
Yeah, it's got bite to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ready to try the next one?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, it's C.
C.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. C. Oops.
This is the sous vide chicken.
Oh yeah.
I said I thought this was gonna win.
We'll see.
Tastes better. More flavorful.
Okay.
This one still has the same bite to it.
It does.
It's a little bit dry.
I think it's moist, more moist.
It's
though.
more moist, but it's still dry.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It can taste like chicken though.
Mhm.
I'm gonna try it too.
Oh no, I like that one though.
Yeah, this one.
In terms of taste too, and
Mhm.
it's juicy. You can just.
Oh yeah, that's
Mhm.
pretty good.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm gonna try this one too.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You see.
That one's a little more tender.
Yeah, the C
The
is
middle.
more tender. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. This one.
Canned chicken.
I can't get it.
Oh.
Oh. Mm.
What do you think?
It's the most tender.
Is it? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's juicy.
I don't know if it's because it's shredded
Oh.
instead of it, like how this is like diced.
Yeah.
Maybe it being diced is like makes it harder to rehydrate.
Mm.
Maybe because it's bigger in size.
Yeah.
This one's
Thicker.
easier to suck in moisture. I don't know how you say it, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
it's nice.
I'm gonna try it too.
Flavor's good too.
I like it. You dropped a piece.
Mm.
Here you go.
There you go. Get some more.
Yeah.
So if you were on the trail, if you were out camping in the wilderness, which one's your favorite? Which one do you think you would enjoy the most in a meal that was dehydrated and then rehydrated?
For texture, taste, and I guess
Get it?
versatility.
Uh-huh.
That's the category you want to look for. But I like B, the shredded chicken.
Okay.
There's not as much chewing, because you know I am with chewing and chicken.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
What about you, Sin?
me too. B.
That one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I like
C.
I like the flavor a lot in this the sous vide chicken.
Okay.
I think if you just season it more, maybe
Mm.
the canned chicken will be really good.
Okay.
But they're both really good.
Yeah.
This one is.
No. Okay.
Yeah, that was a little bit too tough.
Okay. So these two are probably more of a good comparison to each other because they're both diced.
Yes.
But this one was grilled
Yeah.
and it wasn't, pressure cooked or cooked for any length of time that would make it really, really tender.
Yeah.
On the cook when it's cooked, although this was tender. But between the two, this one was
Yeah.
more tender.
Yes.
Okay. All right, folks. So there you have it. It looks like the shredded, and maybe that is a factor. That's a good point. That if it's shredded, and pressure cooked, you'll get a better rehydrated chicken that was dehydrated. So I think I'm gonna go with this version for my backpacking meals that will involve chicken. Look at her. Get it.
I'm just making sure.
Although,
I'm gonna go to the very bottom and see.
Oh yeah.
oh,
Let's try.
Because that was just the top.
okay, that's a good point. While this one is doable, maybe for some recipes where maybe a diced chicken might be a good option. At least it's still a good backup plan that I could do it through sous vide, a sous vide method, and maybe if I sous vide it and then shred it, I could just hand pull it apart.
We should try that.
And yeah, so maybe I will try that for another video where they're both shredded, a sous vide and the canned, and then do a comparison of those two. So I hope you find this helpful. It's been helpful for me, and now I know what I'm gonna do for my chicken. Thanks, guys.
Welcome.